Good morning. This is just going to be a real quick mention of how much a contract helps a title officer doing their job. So, I always like to see a contract uploaded to the file for many reasons. We'll start with the first page. We can tell just by looking at this, it's a residential resale contract. Very important because if it's a vacant land contract, you've got a different scenario altogether. If it's commercial, leasehold, anything different, you've got different scenarios you need to deal with. If you can't find the property, maybe you got some wrong information off of the order. Contract always helps. Go to the contract, take a look. In this case, you have your buyers, you can verify them. You have your sellers, you can verify them. In this case, I didn't even realize we had an extra name on our contract until I noticed on the vesting deed we had an extra name. To verify that he was still alive and I wasn't calling for a death certificate, I went to the contract and took a look. If I didn't have this contract, I'd have to call the escrow officer or send an email and say, hey, why do I have this name on my vesting deed? You haven't mentioned him in your contract. Sometimes you'll have an extra parcel number. Sometimes down here you'll have an extra lot number. Once you pull up your assessor's map, which you should kind of always do, it's hard because we're in a rush, but sometimes you'll see a little tiny strip of land lying next to your parcel. And when you click on it, you can see it clearly goes with your parcel. Contract is another good way of catching that. If you do find another little piece that doesn't go, or that does go with your property and isn't on the contract, then you need to let your escrow officer know so they can get an addendum to their contract. It is actually really important that your contract match your transaction. Then you can scroll down through, and in here there will be a lot of additional information. Sometimes it's about access, sometimes it's about a well, it can be about a road maintenance agreement. Sometimes there's a lot of information on this screen that really helps with your title search. You can tell if there's a septic, you can tell if there's sewer. All of that comes into play sometimes when an agent's asking questions, therefore an escrow officer is asking questions. It helps to have all the information. If you find yourself in a rut, it's really easy just to come through, look through this contract, and find what you need. And that's all I have on that subject.